Bienvenidos! Today we're going to talk about ER and IR verbs in Spanish. In Spanish there are three different kinds of verbs. There are ER verbs and IR verbs, and then there are AR verbs. ER and IR verbs are grouped together in this lecture because they're spelled similarly. AR verbs have a different spelling when they're conjugated, and so they're covered in a separate lecture. ER and IR verbs have similar spellings, very similar. In fact, there's only one difference in the conjugations. Here's some examples of ER and IR verbs. Comer, to eat. Vivir, to live. I eat would be yo como. I live would be yo vivo. And you can see that the ending that we add onto the verb stem is exactly the same. It's identical. The letter O. Okay. Tú comes, tú vives. Again, we have the same ending added onto the verb stem. Nosotros has a different spelling. Nosotros comemos. Nosotros vivimos. So the ending that's added onto the verb stem is slightly different for ER and IR verbs. For the ER verbs, it's EMOS with an E. For IR verbs, it's IMOS. The letter I. Comemos, vivimos. For the usted, él, and ella form, we have usted come, usted vive. Again, we have identical endings added to the verb stem. For the ustedes, ellos, ellas forms, we have ustedes comen, ustedes viven. Again, we have identical endings added onto the verb stem. So the only difference in the endings added to the verb stem when you're conjugating ER and IR verbs is for ER verbs, when we're conjugating in the nosotros form, we add EMOS. And for IR verbs, when we're conjugating in the nosotros form, we add IMOS. Now here's some example sentences using these verbs. ¿Dónde vives? Where do you live? Vivo en Ohio. I live in Ohio. Comemos en la cafetería a las 12 de la tarde. We eat in the cafeteria at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.